And then everybody will get these. Let's see, my dear. There's 2. How'd you get today's already? Hadn't even given out today's yet, and she's already got it. I don't know how you do that. Well, this is today's too, because I'm handing them out today. Hello, my dear. That's for next week. Hello, my dear. Just one?
Thank you.
All right. Hello, my dear. 1, 2, 3. She can count. I'm impressed. Now the question is, can the preacher count back? Hello, my dear. There we go. Y'all need 1 or 2. Y'all fight over them. That's next week's. Elijah, that's next week's, buddy. Hello, my dear. That's next week's.
Oh, good.
Next week's. There he is. Next week. 1, 2. Next week. We've got them, but they're back in the back. Hey, John, get one more for next week. Beth needs it. What do you need?
This week's because I wasn't here Sunday.
This week's. Need one more this week up front. Some people don't know what they got and what they don't got. Yeah, I think Kimberly does. No, she got it now. She's only a week late getting it to her, but she got it to her. Guess I tell her, say, I need 40 of those. She got to pass them out to everybody. Hopefully when we get into 2 Kings, you will be able to go onto our website and you'll be able to download all of the lessons. I'll have them there probably around Monday or Tuesday of the week before, so you'll be able to get those. And like I said, you can already get Wednesday night's questions. They're already downloaded there. I believe even the one for the upcoming week is there, so you can get those and use them. We're in 1 Kings 22, 29 through 40, and we need a good title for this chapter. Who's got one? Well, let me change it then. We need a title for the chapter. I don't care if it's good or not. Okay? Oh, Ahab dies in battle. Anybody else? The death of King Ahab. Okay? Anybody else? Nobody? Oh, the disguise and death of Ahab. Very good. Mine was just kind of cheap too, so that's the reason I took the good out. Ahab's defeat and death. That's all that we're really talking about, isn't it? 5 points. Number 1, the preparations for battle. Number 2, the pursuit of the wrong king. Number 3, the potentate is wounded and dies. Number 4, the prophecy about Ahab fulfilled. And then lastly, the prospectus of Ahab's reign. Prospectus is a what? A summary, isn't it? A little summary of Ahab's reign. That's given right at the end. So there's my 5 points, and we'll get into a study of this particular text. And when we finish the next section, guess what? We're done. There you go, with 1 Kings. Okay, yeah, y'all thought we were just done and y'all could stay home. No, we're just done with 1 Kings. Question number 1. So the king of blank, Israel, and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead. Why are they going to Ramoth Gilead? For war, for battle. Why? Oh yes, Ramoth Gilead belonged to whom? Israel. And who had it? The Syrians have it, and Ahab wants it back, and he's convinced Jehoshaphat to go with him, hasn't he? And so up to Ramoth Gilead they go. Both kings ignored the words of Micaiah the prophet, didn't they? Both of them. Now I want you to think about that. Is one of these men good and one bad? Who's bad? Ahab. Jehoshaphat is good, and yet he ignores who? He ignores the words of a prophet, and it is he who has been the one who asked for another prophet. And he gets the words of the prophet, and he still ignores it. Unbelievable. So I just asked the question, why would a righteous king like Jehoshaphat ignore the warnings of a prophet of God, especially since he was the one who requested the prophet? Why do you think? Family. Family can be a big pull, can it not? Okay, and Jehoshaphat and Ahab are family now, not in a blood kin, but through marriage they're kin to one another. So who knows? One of these days, if Jehoshaphat's in heaven, let's just ask him. How about that? You got your little book. Can you imagine just walking down the street one day and you shake hands and who are you? I'm Jehoshaphat. Oh, come here. I got you right under my J's, and I got a question I got to ask for you. Okay. It's going to be interesting. How was Ahab going to dress when he went into battle? Yes. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and enter into the battle. Man, that little word disguise, to conceal oneself, to mask. Dictionary.com says to change the appearance or guise so as to conceal identity or to mislead, as by means of a deceptive garb. I would love to have seen what Ahab wore into battle. Wouldn't you? I'd love to have seen that. I'd like to see the kind of, what's that? Probably not. Now, you can dress like a king, which he wouldn't do. You could dress like a warrior, which could be almost as bad as a king. So I wonder what else you could dress like. Okay? A what? A commoner. And you'd wonder, what's a commoner doing on the battlefield, would you? I don't know. It'd be very, very interesting to see. I asked this question, though. Why would Ahab want to conceal his identity on the battlefield?
Because they want to kill the king.
We need to look up the definition of weasel. Strong's defines that as. What do you mean by that, Mike?
Well, he wants Jehoshaphat to dress like a king, so if they kill a king, let it be him.
Hey, again, I've got some real concerns about Jehoshaphat, don't y'all? I mean, poor guy. I wrote this down. There's no answer to the question because, other than the fact that, both kings are going to battle. You got Israel and Judah going to battle against the Syrians, okay? Perhaps the only reason is because they would know Ahab was the instigator of this because Ramoth Gilead belongs to who? To Israel and not Judah, okay? That's the only thing I can think of is that, yes, if there's going to be a battle, if there's going to be the taking of Ramoth Gilead, it had to be Ahab who wanted this done. So guess what? They'll be after me, okay? It is true. That is true. How did Ahab want Jehoshaphat to dress? And put on thy robes. I would have immediately been on the alert. Wouldn't you? Oh yeah, big red flags. I'm talking big red flags. I'm going to disguise myself. Here, put on my clothes. I mean, unbelievable. Now, he didn't say that, but he was going to wear his royal attire out onto the field, wasn't he? Man, I wrote some questions down. Number one, how many kings would the Syrians be looking for on the battlefield? Probably just one. Okay? Because they may not have known that he has solicited the help of whom? Of Jehoshaphat. So they wouldn't know that, would they? Okay. Now watch this. If only one king was being sought, would the opposing forces be searching for the one in royal robes? Yeah. How are we going to know who it is? Just look for the what? Look for the robes. Oh man, unbelievable. And then I put this. Why in the world would Jehoshaphat allow himself to be used in this kind of a manner? Why would you do that? Okay? To me, it is a weird situation. But, you know, there's been weirder things happen in society. You know that? And, you know, he may have just longed for the friendship of Ahab so badly that he would do almost anything that Ahab wanted him to do. Does Ahab on occasions appear to be kind of a fairly decent guy? You know, sometimes he appears to be sort of decent, you know. And what's that?
I said that's also a disguise.
Yes, it is. It is a disguise, but still.
He lasted a long time compared to some of his competitors.
Who's that, Ahab? Oh, yes. He lasted a long time, many years that he was there. Unbelievable. And the king of Israel blanked himself and went into the battle, disguised himself. I wrote this down. Ahab probably felt very comfortable entering into this battle, right? I'm disguised, and there's this foolish guy over here that looks like a king that said he would go there, okay?
But he was still in his chariot. I mean, weren't only important people in the chariot. Even if he disguised himself, he's still riding in the chariot.
Could the chariot have been a disguise too, though? See, he could. There's when they go to battle, there's a lot of chariots. Now, there's a kingly chariot, isn't there? Okay, but he could have disguised. He could have disguised even the chariot if he had wanted to, and so that he could not be detected. And we kind of get that feel, don't we? Well, when we go through here, we'll talk about it. But he was disguised, and another king was on the battlefield, dressed in royal garb, wasn't he? How many captains did the king of Syria have over his chariots? 32. It would be interesting to know how many chariots were under the command of each captain, wouldn't it? There were 32 captains, and let's just assume each of them had 10. That puts 320 chariots on the battlefield. Okay. What if each were a commander of 100? Now we're up to 3,200 chariots on the battlefield. Okay. It's a big number. And I told you before, Syria, folks, was a nation of warfare. Okay. This was an evil nation. And they were very, very militaristic and powerful. Okay. What did he command his captains to do? That is the king of Syria.
Don't go anybody great except for King of Israel.
Fight neither with small nor great, save only with the king of Israel. Now, folks, that's coming from the top, right? Now, when it comes from the top, you do what the top says, especially under a monarchy. You know that? Especially in a monarchy. And I find it interesting. They said it doesn't matter whether they're small or what. Great. Now, remember a while ago, y'all said that most likely, or maybe, Ahab dressed like a who? A commoner. You don't go after the common man, right? And even if you see a very powerful captain on the force, don't go after him. The only one I want you looking for is the king of Israel. They were on a search, weren't they? Unbelievable. Remember, this king had been spared by the mercy of Ahab in the past. Isn't that something? Remember that? Ahab had spared the life of this king in the past. Thus, there is no appreciation in this king's heart for that, is there? Wow. This king had also failed to give the cities of Israel, taken by his father, back to Israel as he had promised. Man, his greed may have caused him to want to retain the city of Ramoth Gilead. He knew that if Ahab won the consequences that that the consequences he would face would be what? Severe. Okay? He spared me. I didn't get back his cities. So if he wins this, it's over for me. So if that's the case, there's only one person I need to take out on the battlefield, and that's who? That's Ahab, and he's after him big time, isn't he? Now see, this is the point that makes you wonder about even the chariot, right? And when the captains of the chariot, or what did the captains of the chariots think when they saw Jehoshaphat? Yes, and it came to pass when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat that they said, surely this is the king of who? King of Israel. Man. Unbelievable. Colin DeLitch makes this statement. These words are not to be expressed as a command, but simply in this sense. Thou mayest put on the royal dress, since there is no necessity for thee to take any precautions as I have to take. See now, isn't that the way he may have presented it? There is no ground for detecting any cunning on the part of Ahab in these words. Are you kidding me? See, this is where the reason I put this comment in here is because you just can't believe Colin DeLitch would think like this. Okay, there's no cunning in what Ahab did. He was just trying to spare his own life, and he wasn't worried about the life of Jehoshaphat. And then the first thing they do, they get on the battlefield, and whose life is the one that's being threatened? It's Jehoshaphat's. Ahab knew exactly what he was doing, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, Jehoshaphat was the only man on the battlefield in what? Royal attire. Surely they would think, or that would put his life at greater risk. Unbelievable. When the captains of the chariots turned to fight against Jehoshaphat, what did he do? They said, the text says, and they turned aside to fight against him. And Jehoshaphat cried out. I would have too. You know what? I would have too. Man. I just wrote this down. What words did he make known? You know, all the text says is that he what? He cried out. I'm not Ahab. I promise I'm Jehoshaphat. You got the wrong man. I mean, I could just see him, screaming for his life. Ahab disguised himself. He's out here somewhere. There's no telling. When your life's in danger, you yell a lot of things, don't you? And he let them know real quickly that I am not the one you're what? You're looking for. Was that important when they found that out? Why?
Because the boss had said, only the king of Israel.
Only the king of Israel. Had they killed the wrong man, they'd have been in trouble on that occasion. Even though they would have mistakenly thought that he was the king, he would have still, they wouldn't have got the man that the king wanted. Unbelievable. True or false? When the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat was not the king of Israel, they slew him with arrows. False. They did not. And it came to pass when the captains of the chariots perceived that it was not the king of Israel, that they turned back from pursuing him. Wow. I did write down a couple more questions. Didn't the presence of another king on the battlefield pose a threat? I want you to think about that. If you think you're going to battle against one king, right? You get on the battlefield and you think that's the king, and all of a sudden that's not the king, it's a whole different king. Uh-oh. Now we've got two nations battling against us, not one. You would think you'd just take the life of that king that you came in contact with, because that's an important point, isn't it? Secondly, I wrote another question. Why wouldn't they ask, what is this king doing on the battlefield? What's he doing here? But it's all because of what? One simple order, wasn't it? Coming from the Syrian king himself. Only one person was to be taken on the battlefield that day. Now here's what's interesting. Number 10. And a certain man drew a bow at a blank. At a venture. We don't say that, do we? We don't say that word very often. Did y'all look up the word venture? Random. That's one definition. Anybody else? What is it? A step of faith. Okay. What else? Okay. Strong defines it this way, and I love this. Morally innocent. Okay? Morally innocent. Brown Driver and Briggs says, with integrity, innocence, simplicity. Have you ever watched some of these movies and the armies are charging a wall maybe and they have all the archers standing at the wall? And they don't fire the arrow at a specific person. They just do what? They just take their arrows, fire them into the air, and whoever gets hit, gets hit. Okay? So they could claim, I am not intentionally trying to kill you. Now I may kill you, but I'm not intentionally trying to kill you. And that's pretty much what this particular archer did. He just shot into the air at a venture. Okay? He wasn't shooting directly at who? At Ahab whatsoever. He was doing it with what some might refer to as moral innocence or with simplicity. Where did the arrow hit the king of Israel? Yes, and smote the king of Israel between the joints of the harness. I was trying to do some study on where this arrow may have hit him. Did anybody else do that? Okay. There were 3 different places where there would be possible joints in this armor. Okay. One would be at the neck. Okay. So if the arrow went high in the air, hit him right in the neck, that may have been one of the places. Okay. Another would have been around the arms. Okay. They'd had to join the arm parts to the body part, and so there may have been a joint here, so the arrow could have come in through the side and maybe even near the heart of him. Or where was the other place? At the bottom of the armor. Okay, down at the bottom of the armor. And so it may have struck him somewhere in the lower regions of his body. So it doesn't say where he was hit, but I did write this lesson down. All battle gear has some kinks. Yes, that's the professional word for weakness. Okay, kinks. Yeah, we talk about that a lot, don't we? Okay, the protective gear is not 100% foolproof. There always is some weakness that is exposed in battle gear. Now, I say that with a caveat. Does anybody know what my caveat might be? Now remember what I said. There's always weakness to the armor. And I said, there's a caveat I have to put on there. But it's still there. Oh, yeah. That is not true of the armor of God. God's armor has no weak spots, folks. When you put on the armor of God, there are no harnesses through which an arrow can pierce you. Okay? There's no, if you put on that armor correctly and you put on every piece, you are fully 100% protected from the enemy. And that is not the true of man's armor, is it? Man.
If I could say one thing.
I don't know. You got just one thing? What you got?
If you look at most armor, it was designed to cover the vital area and up.
Right.
So the idea of being struck either by the clavicle or the armpit, he already knew when he got hit, taken out of the battle.
Oh yeah, he was hurt badly.
So that seems to be more ritualistic, is either straight down into the clavicle or
Yep.
sideways.
And it all depends on the angle the archer shot, just all kinds of things. But I would be kind of like you. I think it'd be more somewhere around the arms and that. But who knows? Because you do have some major blood vessels and arteries in your legs and in your groin area and things. And but we're just not told what that was. Wow. But he shot at a venture. He didn't intend to do it. As far as he wanted to kill the enemy, but he wasn't intentionally trying to kill the king. It was just haphazard, was it not? It was just at random that occurred. What's that?
Didn't even know he was a king.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. 13. When Ahab was hit by an arrow, what did he tell his chariot driver to do? Ah, yes. I love the way the text is written. Okay, the way it speaks. Wherefore he said unto the driver of his chariot, "Turn thine hand." Isn't that interesting? Turn thine hand, because that had to be done in order to do what? Get the chariot. Sometimes Scripture is just so to the point when it talks about certain things. "And carry me out of the host, for I am wounded. Redirect the chariot. Retreat from the battlefield." And the reason for I am what? I am wounded. Man, I wonder what Ahab thought when that arrow hit him. Just think about it. He'd done everything he could do not to get killed this day. What'd you say? Huh? Oh, Jackie said, "They got me." Oh, yeah, he might as well just stood up. You know, "You got me." Oh, ain't that the truth? Oh, man. Kim said he probably rethought Micah's prophecy. You know, there's no telling what went through the man's mind. He did know, I have to do what? I've got to get off the battlefield, don't I? I can't stay right here in the heat of the battle. When the battle increased, what did Ahab do? It says, "And the battle increased that day, and the king was stayed up in his chariot against the Syrians." He was what? Stayed up. When you look up that little word "stayed up," did anybody look it up? It literally means stood up. And that's something. Okay? It wasn't like he was slumped down in his chariot and they just kind of set him up. He wanted what? "You stand me up while the battle's going on." Okay? Although he did not fight in the battle, Ahab's chariot could be seen by those who were in the battle. His charioteer and other servants helped him to stand to witness the battle and to encourage the troops. If he had fled away, what would have happened? Oh, absolutely. The battle would have been lost immediately. Immediately. Barnes says this, "Ahab must not be denied the credit of right princely fortitude on this occasion." In other words, he knew what was expected of who? Of a king at battle. If you're wounded, you don't run off the battlefield. You stay till when? You stay till the battle's over. And he did. And that's my point. There are some good things occasionally that you see in Ahab. And it just frustrates you that he turned out to be such a wicked man and such a wicked example to the nation of Israel. Sad. True or false? Ahab died at even. True. True. The wound was not superficial. It was a mortal wound and eventually took his life. It appears Ahab lost so much blood as he witnessed the battle that day. They didn't take him off. They didn't give him first aid per se. Maybe a little bit of pressure. Best they could, but he eventually probably just bled to death, didn't he? Unbelievable. "And the blank ran out of the womb into the midst of the blank." The blood ran out of the womb into the midst of the chariot. All chariots have a natural slant forward. Okay? This way. Okay, so you're standing here. Here's the back of the chariot. Okay, so they all slant this way. Why? Yeah, you don't want to fall out. Be horrible slanted this way. Horse take off, psst, you're gone. What good is that going to do you, you know? So they had a natural slant to them. And so the blood, when he bled, where did it go? Pooled down into the front, into the midst of that chariot, down in the front. How much blood is in our bodies? I saw somebody say back there, a lot. That's the blind answer. The blind answer would be this, enough. Anybody know how much blood? How much? 5 pints. Oh boy, he's way down there. 8 pints. He's a little off. Men have about 12 pints. Women have about 9 pints. Now it all depends on what? How big you are, you know, or how small you are. I probably have 3 pints. Judy says she thinks she has 1. I put this down though. When a person loses about 50% of his or her blood, the chances of death are high unless aggressive action is taken. Okay? So Ahab lost more than what? 50% of his blood on this particular occasion. And what did it do? It just pooled in the bottom of that chariot. Man. After Ahab died, what proclamation went through the host? Yes, and there went out a proclamation throughout the host about the going down of the sun, saying, every man to his own country. The battle was over. King of Israel was dead. The mission given by the Syrian king was accomplished. No need to continue to fight the battle. When the king died, where did they bring him and bury him? They buried him in Samaria. They brought him to Samaria, buried him in Samaria. That was the capital city of what? That was the capital city of the northern empire, wasn't it? Okay, the capital city. Where did one wash Ahab's chariot? Yes. They washed it in the pool of Samaria. Barnes makes this statement. A large tanker reservoir, probably identical to this pool, still remains on the slope of a hill in Samaria, immediately outside its walls. Okay? So if you go there, you might walk around this pool. Right there is where Ahab died. Okay? But it's a pool similar to it. Who licked up his blood? Man, that is the fulfillment of 3 prophecies. Isn't that amazing? 3 prophecies. Elijah, one of the unknown prophets, and Micaiah. True or false, the man did not wash the armor of Ahab. False. And they washed his armor. Did anybody do a little study on that? What did you find out?
So, in my version, it says, now the harlots bathed themselves there, so it didn't say anything about armor. So I went to Strong's to look that up, and it said it could be a plural version of playing the harlot.
There are several other translations that will say, and the harlots washed, instead of they washed his armor. Okay? And there's only, a few little letters that are different in the 2 translations. And so we're not certain. It could have been that, here Ahab was washing in the pool. They washed all his blood out. And the city was so evil and corrupt that the harlots thought there's some blessing if I'll just do what? Go wash in this blood, in this pool of water that the king had his blood put in. And so just be aware that that translation is out there if you're ever teaching this particular section. True or false? Ahab's death happened according to the word of the Lord. True. True. Here's some questions. What did Ahab think while he slowly died in his chariot? Wouldn't you like to have been in his mind? What did the false prophets think when Israel came home defeated? They've been screaming and shouting all day that there's going to be great victory. What happened to Zedekiah? Remember what Micah said? Micah said, you're going to be hiding out somewhere, boy. When you like to, hey, I wonder where Zedekiah is, And then I asked this one, what was the reaction of Jezebel to the death of her husband? Okay. What was her reaction that day? She doesn't have a king anymore. Okay. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. We find out 3 things about Ahab in the Chronicles of the Kings, do we not? Very, very interesting things. One of them, first of all, the rest of the acts of Ahab, the ivory houses which he made. Most individuals believe what they mean by that is they were ivory garnished. Okay? When you walked in, just ivory, strips and pieces and just everywhere. Houses of ivory. And Amos speaks about those in his prophecy. And all the cities that he built. With whom did Ahab sleep? And Ahab slept with his fathers. And who reigned in his stead? Would you have wanted to be the son of Ahab after all this? Remember, Ahab was told, I will not bring destruction upon you, but upon those after you. And I've got to now sit on the throne of my dad. Thanks, Dad. Man. All right, guys, one more section on this book. Okay, we'll talk about that. What we'll do after that, I'll have one Sunday where we'll go through that chart. Remember I told you I was going to prepare a chart for you about these kings and stuff, and we'll go through that chart and talk about it so you kind of see, be a brief review of 1 Kings, and then we'll get right into 2 Kings.